Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
I hear you pretty good. You hear me?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Sweet.
That sounds good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The South Union Township Supervisors presents the South Union Township Sports Network today from Laurel Highlands High School. It is WPIAL's girls basketball as the Mount Pleasant Vikings have traveled in from Westmoreland County to take on the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. Hi, everyone. This is Joshua Scully alongside Carl Childs tonight. The South Union Township Sports Network coverage is a joint cooperative venture between Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, and our friends at Armstrong and Breezeline Cable, and those at CUTV as well, including Gary Smith. We are ready tonight for a WPIAL girls matchup and a section matchup as well. This one does have some serious implications for both teams as they move into the holiday break. Of course, both teams will remain active through the break and continue to play. Mount Pleasant coming in with a 1-2 conference record, as does Laurel Highlands. Mount Pleasant overall 3-4. Laurel Highlands 2-5. Both teams in Class 4A Section 3. Let's take a moment and look at that section together. Elizabeth Ford out front. They have a 3-0 conference record, 2-6 overall. South Park also 3-0 in the conference, 3-4 overall, so they have not won outside of the conference yet. Bell Vernon and Ringgold both 2-1 in the conference. Mount Pleasant and Laurel Highlands both 1-2. Yock and Southmoreland both 0-3. Every team in the conference does have at least one win, even if that win came out of conference. Everyone has at least one win on the season, including Southmoreland, who we just saw this Laurel Highlands team defeat here inside the Harold Horst Taylor Memorial Gymnasium a few days ago. We are now within 53 hours of Christmas Day, as crazy as that sounds, Carl. 8 p.m., which we are rapidly approaching. It's 7:35 p.m. right now. 8 p.m. will be 52 hours until 12 a.m. Christmas morning. Carl shared with me before our broadcast started that he is 100% ready to go. Decorations are up, gifts are purchased and wrapped, and he is simply now got to put the milk and cookies out, and he won't do that until Wednesday evening. Everything else is done.
Yeah, lots of truth behind that, except for the fact that I haven't started any shopping yet.
Plenty of time, Carl. 2 full days, you can do a lot of damage in 2 full days.
I think I love the thrill of trying to get it done under pressure.
A lot of people do, Carl. You know what? Now that you say that, I know quite a few people who enjoy that, who almost purposefully wait until the end. I would say that there are probably nearly as many of those people as there are those who like to be done really, really early with their Christmas shopping and preparation. Our sponsors tonight, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and the South Union Township Supervisors, Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. If you're watching this game on Breezeline or Armstrong Cable, we'd like to let you know that South Union Township Sports Network games and programs are now available live online. It's easy to find. Just log on to youtube.com and search South Union Television or follow the South Union Township Sports Network on Facebook for program updates, facebook.com/South Union TV. Subscribe for notifications when the South Union Township Sports Network goes live. Let's talk about the future schedule of this Laurel Highlands girls basketball team. Today, of course, they host the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings. They participate in a tournament over the holiday break. They also host the Uniontown Lady Raiders here at Laurel Highlands on December 30th. That is a 6 p.m. tip. Coming out of the holiday break, they travel to Bell Vernon, host Ringgold, travel to Yock and South Park, host Elizabeth Ford, that's January 19th, travel to University, of course that's in Morgantown, travel to Southmoreland, Mount Pleasant, host Bell Vernon, travel to Ringgold on February 2, and their final game of the season as it stands right now, they will host Yock on February the 5th. So Carl, as you pointed out pregame, basketball season is not only upon us, it is rapidly progressing at this point. Final game of the regular season for Laurel Highlands will be February 5.
Hard to believe.
So the season has indeed, we'll say, at least reached the 3rd point and is rapidly closing in on the 1/2 point as we see the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, come in for this section matchup. Again, both of these teams do participate in the same section, Class 4A, Section 3. Looking around Class 4A, there are still a few teams in 4A who are undefeated on the season. You have to move over to Class 4A, Section 2. Hampton and Blackhawk are both 8-0 overall. They are both 3-0 in their conference. That, again, is 4A, Section 2. We also have a few teams with just 1 or 2 losses overall. Burrell in Class 4A, Section 1, at 8-1 overall record. They are also undefeated in their section. Oakland Catholic, 4-1 overall, also undefeated in their section. And when you look at 4A, Section 3, your top 2 teams, Elizabeth Ford and South Park. Elizabeth Ford has done well overall, too. They're 6-2. South Park is the one who has not fared especially well when they have dipped their toe outside of their own section. For Laurel Highlands, this is a Laurel Highlands team coming in that has won 1 game of their last 4, 2 of their last 5. That win over Southmoreland, 52-13. If you remember joining us for that game, if you did join us for that game, myself and Bill Dice broadcasted that one for you. Southmoreland did not score a traditional field goal in that game until very late in the third quarter. They had compiled only foul shots. Mount Pleasant actually comes into this contest having dropped 2 in a row. Those losses coming to South Park and Elizabeth Ford. We're going to turn it over now to Mr. Jason Taylor here inside the Harold Horse Taylor Memorial Gymnasium for the introduction of your starting lineups tonight. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. Joshua Scully and Carl Childs here with you tonight. The Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings will be dressed in red with blue and white trim. They're going to work right to left as we get this one underway. The Lady Mustangs in their home whites, blue and red trim, they'll be working left to right. Again, both of these teams coming in with 1 and 2 conference records. So someone will come away with a 500 record in the conference heading into the holiday, and I think that's a good spot for either team. Here's the tip. It's going to be won by the Vikings, and they go on the attack. Riley Drozel will be steered around. She's going to move it to Tepper, and back to Drozel. Drozel inside look off the glass and good for Danica Traynor. And the Lady Vikings go ahead by 2. Laurel Highlands looking for an answer. This is Brooks. She's going to move that one to Price. Price goes to Swartfeger. Swartfeger, the leading scorer for this team, averaging 10 a game, floats one up. No good on the shot, but she knocks away the basketball from Danica Traynor.
I like the aggression out of her right out of the gate for Laurel Highlands. They're going to need that consistently throughout the game for them to have a good game.
Definitely this Laurel Highlands team has some quickness, some real athletes, especially in Taylor Swartfeger, but you get plenty of hustle out of all 5 of these starters. Deep shot on the way here, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Lady Vikings. They're going to settle for a high post jumper from number 5, Lexus Baker. That one also no good. It's a rebound for Laurel Highlands on the far sideline. This will be number 10, Chloe Price. Price averaging nearly 7 points a game so far this season. Gets the ball to Isabella Paschke. Paschke to Swartfeger. Swartfeger on the drive. She's going to be blocked here, and apparently Grace Arrigo gets a piece of her as she comes through, and Swartfeger, who has a real talent for getting to the foul line, finds herself there for the first time this evening. She'll shoot 2 with 6:55 to play here in quarter number 1. First one on the way and good. Swartfeger also very good from the foul line. Laurel Highlands tonight under the direction of head coach Rick Hill. And Coach Hill and I spoke pregame, and Coach Hill really grateful for the South Union Township Sports Network to be here for these girls basketball contests. This one no good, and nearly saved there by an effort from the sophomore Chloe Price, who tried to strike the ball off a Lady Viking, was not successful, but nearly so. Ball comes first to Drozel, and she moves it over to number 24, Traynor. Tie-up will ensue, and the ball will be awarded to the Lady Mustangs. 2-1 your score. Joshua Scully and Carl Childs here with you tonight. Lady Mustangs' final game before Christmas Day, and then of course they'll be involved in a tournament after that. Loose basketball pinging between several players. Ultimately it goes to Swartfeger, top of the key, going to move it to our side. Resetting here is Paschke. She'll go to Price, and then Price is going to be fouled as she drives baseline. So 2 quick fouls here against the Lady Vikings. That first one was on Arrigo, and so is this one. So 2 on the 6-foot forward and senior Grace Arrigo. Price gets this one to rattle down, and the game is tied at 2 as we see Morgan Jasinski checking in for the Lady Vikings. She's listed as a 5'6" senior guard. Second one for Price, also good. 3-2 now your score. And a quick tie-up here as the ball goes into Tepper, and Tepper not able to pivot around to see any targets. Jump ball will go to the Mustangs. We also want to thank Mr. Jason Taylor, who helped us a great deal with the Mount Pleasant roster. More on that in just a moment as the ball moved in here to Drazel. Drazel sending it our way to Jasinski. Jasinski across the timeline. Jasinski going to pose here for Connellsville Daily Courier reporter Paul Britton, who just lifted up his camera to get a shot of her as she passed the ball. But here's a turnover, and Swartfager is going to be fouled. Another foul called against the Lady Vikings. This time, surely, they have Victoria Tepper, and they do with a push. Mr. Taylor was kind enough to come up to the press box here at the Harold Horse Taylor Memorial Gymnasium and let us know that the Mount Pleasant roster we had received needed some significant update. And speaking of significant update, here's a big three to update your score, 6-2. And Mount Pleasant head coach Scott Hillen wants a full timeout. And he will get one here, 6-2 your score in the early stages of period number one. I happen to know head coach Scott Hillen of the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings quite well from his time as the head coach of the women's team at Penn State Fayette. He had a long tenure at Penn State Fayette and had some incredible teams at Penn State Fayette, especially, I would say, between 3 and 7 years ago. Some really strong teams, some deep playoff runs in the PSUAC. Coach Hillen, plenty of experience coaching. He moved on from that position to this one. He's in his second season as the girls coach for Mount Pleasant, and he breaks the huddle with about 18 seconds to spare on the timeout clock. Taylor Swartfager already 4 points for the Lady Mustangs, and head coach Rick Hill. Again, Coach Hill, very glad for the work the South Union Township Sports Network has done. We're grateful to Mr. Taylor as well for his help updating the roster. Thanks as well to Coach Hillen, who shared with us some number changes before the game started regarding that roster too. Lady Vikings here looking for their spot. They're going to get the ball to Morgan Jasinski. Jasinski working away from us to Lexi Baker. Baker going to move it inside off the block. A high shot off the glass here for number 24, Danica Traynor. Does not go. It's a Laurel Highlands rebound. Thank you as always for joining us on the South Union Township Sports Network as Christmas Day now just a few days away. By the time this game is over, will realistically be just about 51 hours from Christmas morning. Good looking drive here by Harris. High off the glass, no good. No one can get the rebound. It bounces across the baseline. 5:15 to play here in quarter number one. Good start for the Lady Mustangs. Good crowd on hand here too. Much of the crowd actually just came through the door before we started the broadcast. Jasinski may have got away with a travel there, and a foul is going to be called on the far block. Ball sent into the corner. Three-point look on the way, and this one goes down for number 23, Riley Drazel. And she, in fact, was the young lady who was added to the roster. When I spoke with Paul Britton before the game, Paul had said that he did not know why Riley was omitted. He thought perhaps she was not playing. It turns out that was in error. Ball trying to be saved here by Jasinski. And we will have a foul called. Foul is going to be called against Jasinski, in fact. That is 4 fouls already against Mount Pleasant with plenty of time here in this first quarter. Pass going to be sent in, a quick one to Maddie Brooks. Brooks able to get off a shot. And the very good Maddie Brooks has her first basket of the night. Laurel Highlands leads 8-5. Looking ahead here to Jasinski. Short corner jumper on the way and good. And so the Lady Vikings able to answer back very quickly. 8-7 your score. If you happen to be here with us, and we have learned that some spectators do this, if you happen to be here with us, as Jasinski gets the steal off of Swartfager, and Swartfager may have got a block there, a little collision under the bucket as a retreating Drazel sends Swartfager to the floor. The Lady Vikings end up with the basketball. If you happen to be here with us in person listening to the broadcast, perhaps on your phone, another three-point look on the way here for Drosel, no good. Carl Childs wants you to know that the pepperoni rolls in the concession stand tonight are excellent.
They are.
So consider that. Look at that. Speaking of excellence, a perfect made three from Chloe Price, and the Mustangs lead 11-7. Southwestern Pennsylvania with a long pepperoni roll history. Of course, the state of West Virginia takes credit for inventing the, we'll say, forerunner of the pepperoni roll. The independent league team in Charleston, independent baseball. Here's a three-point look on the way, no good by Harris, but she gets her own rebound, goes up for two, no good, and Jasinski and Harris are tied up. But that baseball team, their alternative uniform is the West Virginia pepperoni rolls. They wear that one a couple times per season.
It almost sounds made up.
It's a real thing. Schwartzfeger on the drive to the far elbow, and she's going to travel there. Score will hold 11-7. The pepperoni roll historically really tied to mining culture and tradition. Coal miners often had the forerunner of the modern-day pepperoni roll packed for them by their wives. It was a quick, easy meal that could be prepared in advance and sent into a lunchbox that did not need to be kept hot or cold, that could be consumed on the go. Short corner jumper here on the way from number 5, Lexi Baker's no good. The ball goes across the baseline and out of play. 2:45 to play.
Wonder if their wives packed some Tums with those pepperoni rolls on those work days.
Maybe, Carl. Maybe. Tums have certainly been around for a long time, and I'm sure before that particular brand, this ball is going to be lost to the sideline. There were medications akin to Tums. Ball moved in here to Jasinski. Jasinski across the timeline. Goes to the corner. This is Drosel. Thought about a shot, pulls it down, goes to Trainer. Trainer's fouled, and she gets the bucket. Trainer has 4. Mount Pleasant has 9, and Trainer will go to the foul line to shoot 1. She's the first Lady Viking to go to the charity stripe tonight. This one is no good. Strong rebound here by Price. Price weaving past Jasinski across the timeline. Moves it our way to Schwartzfeger. Schwartzfeger thought about leading in Brooks, then pulls it down, resets the play, goes to Harris. Harris comes our way to Price. Price on the drive, makes some contact, settles for a jump shot, no good. Strong rebound here by Schwartzfeger inside. Could not get that one to go. Then we have a foul after the outlet pass. And this one is going to be called against Laurel Highlands' number 1, Haven Harris, as number 31, Samantha Williams, the 6'1 junior, checks in. Leading pass here to Drosel. Drosel back up top to Jasinski. Jasinski will quarterback the play. Calls up Baker, goes that way to the wing, 1:44 to play. Jasinski looking inside, maybe thought about leading in Kendra Brunson, but goes the opposite direction, and it works out as Trainer gets one to fall down, and Trainer now has 6 points here in quarter number 1. Under 90 seconds now in quarter 1. Schwartzfeger to Harris. Harris comes back our way to Price. Price on the drive, up high off the glass, and this one bounces away. Going to be recovered by Mount Pleasant. We have an 11-11 tie right now. Jasinski wide open on the wing, pulls down a 3. This one goes in and out. Strong rebound inside by Brunson, though. And Brunson lays it in for 2. Schwartzfeger off the screen from Paschke is going to be fouled, and Schwartzfeger will go to the foul line. Mount Pleasant finally committing their 5th foul of the quarter. They had sat on 4 for quite some time.
I would have liked to have seen Laurel Highlands keep up the pressure and the pace with those 4 fouls for the last 4 minutes.
Surprisingly, Mount Pleasant has not tried to do that. They picked up their 5 fouls the old-fashioned way by making contact largely underneath the basket. As Swartfager gets the first one, now has a chance to tie the game. This one rolls around the rim and comes out. 44 seconds to play. Baker across the timeline. Goes to Drozel in the corner. Back up top to Baker. Drozel has shot out of the corner a few times here. She'll pass it to Tepper. Work it inside to Trainer, but the ball gets away and Price is going to secure it. Price does face a little bit of pressure on the outlet pass, but safely gets it to Harris. Harris to the far wing. Brings it back out to Price. Price off the screen from Williams for 3. This one off the front of the rim, no good. Trainer with the rebound. 6 seconds to play. Here's Drozel. She gets one out to Baker, no good on the shot. Rebound is going to be pulled down by Tepper. Tepper cannot really get one off. Certainly not the shot she wanted thanks to some strong defense there. And the score is going to be 13-12 in favor of Mount Pleasant at the end of this first quarter. We'd like to take a moment and recognize the sponsors who have made this broadcast possible for you this evening, and certainly we are grateful for their help in making these broadcasts possible. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law. The Sprouse Insurance Group and agent David Hughes. SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health. The UPMC Rehabilitation Institute. And physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. A relatively cool Monday evening in December, late December now. 38 degrees outside, some rain and snow showers in the general vicinity. You can expect to see above normal temperatures this week, 52 tomorrow, and rain across central Fayette County. 46 in clouds on Wednesday and Thursday. A mix of sun and clouds with a few rain showers and a high of 47. Ball moved into Tepper to get quarter number 2 started. Of course, the fouls are reset here. Drozel going to go inside to Brunson, and Brunson is immediately fouled by Price. So Brunson will step up to the line to shoot 2. .753 to play. Mount Pleasant, of course, coming to us from Westmoreland County. Shot on the way and good from Brunson. Mount Pleasant is one of the most common location names across the United States. So every state virtually has got a Mount Pleasant, and in some cases more than one. With that first made foul shot good, the score will go to 14-12, and the Lady Vikings now will offer at least some token pressure as Price comes across the timeline. Trying to get Swartfager on the pick and roll, and the pass gets away. Trainer comes up with it, and so the Lady Vikings will get another crack at some offense here. Coming across the timeline and cut off is Baker. Baker nearly lost the basketball to Price. Lady Vikings will move this one to Tepper. Now to the corner and Drozel. Back to Tepper. Baker and Tepper back and forth. Now they go high post to Trainer. Pop out to Drozel, who cut on the baseline, and she sort of flings one at the basket, but it goes down, and now Riley Drozel has 5 points tonight. And the Lady Vikings lead by 4 with 7:05 to play here in period 2. Trying to look for Swartfager inside again, does not happen. Drozel comes up with the basketball, is blocked by Harris. Great defense there by Haven Harris, especially given that that defense also very clean. No contact with Drozel, just knocked the basketball away. Here's Tepper, a little push on Swartfager as Paschke is going to be called with the offensive foul. Leaned into that screen just a little too much. 16-12 your score. Swartfager nearly will jump the inbound pass, and then she's going to be fouled by Drozel. At first, I thought Drozel was able to save that, and then Swartfager just did not give up and ultimately took the basketball away. Now Haven Harris will stand on the baseline as we see Brooks check in for Paschke. Ball comes into Swartfager. She wants the three-point look. No good. Rebound. Bounces off Price and goes to Mount Pleasant's number 5, Baker, who leads in Tepper for a bucket. Tepper has 2. That's her first basket tonight. And now we're going to have a timeout taken by head coach Rick Hill of Laurel Highlands. Just a 30-second timeout, 6-point game. Happy birthday today from the South Union Township Sports Network to Jonathan Kirk. Now, I'm assuming nobody listening to this broadcast knows who Jonathan Kirk is.
Myself included.
Again, Jonathan Kirk, born today in 1991. You do know, perhaps, some of you will know Jonathan Kirk by his stage name. He is an American rapper who goes by the name DaBaby.
Oh, that makes more sense. I seen DaBaby this past summer, actually.
Happy birthday to DaBaby from the South Union Township Sports Network.
Gotta admit, I should have known that one.
Really?
Yes.
Good for you, Carl. I would have never known that. I would have had no idea what DaBaby's actual name was. I have heard of DaBaby.
If you're into hip-hop music, he's a very good performer.
I know of DaBaby in the context of he had a very popular single on the radio sometime relatively recently with Dua Lipa. Here's a drive by Swartfager, no good. Put back by Williams, also misses, and the rebound is saved by Harris before it goes across the sideline. Drive here from Brooks. Brooks can't get it to go. Another rebound for Swartfager, and Taylor will get this one. Taylor Swartfager now with 7 points. She leads all scorers in that capacity. Drozel for 3 off the mark, and it's going to be Price who gets the rebound. 5:25 here to play in quarter 2. Price trying to go coast to coast. Williams almost able to get the rebound off the miss.
Price has had some really nice drives. She just hasn't been able to finish tonight.
Price is really good, a lot of fun to watch. She is only a sophomore. Swartfager only a junior, so Laurel Highlands gets both of those players back. Really, Laurel Highlands gets their entire starting lineup back, except Maddie Brooks. Foul called here. 18-14 your score. Foul is going to be called on number 5, Lexus Baker. And Swartfager yet again at the foul line. First one off the mark as we see substitutes for both teams. For Laurel Highlands, number 21, Lillian Hannon will check in.
And we talked about this last game about getting Swartfager to the line more, and it seems like they're doing that tonight.
Yeah, this is already her 3rd visit. This half, though, overall for both teams, as to this point at least, fewer fouls. Swartfager has this one roll around and roll in. First shot on the way here for the Vikings, no good, and they cannot quite find their rebound. So Laurel Highlands will have an opportunity. They trail by only 1 possession now, 18-15. Swartfager looking for help, directing some traffic. She was working against Sophia Capula there. And a travel called before the shot. So now the Vikings, during that last foul shot appearance from Swartfager, shuffled in some fresh legs. Jasinski out there as well. And a travel here going to be called against Kapula, the freshman guard, as she moves to her right. Drazel also on the floor right now for Mount Pleasant, along with Grace Arrigo and number 25, Charlotte Brodak. Of course, we have not seen Arrigo recently because she picked up 2 very quick fouls in this game. Harris off the wing, sends it our way to Hainan, then one more to Brooks. Little give and go look there as Brooks cut through. Ball ultimately went to Swartfager. No good on the shot. Rebound pulled out by Drazel.
That's tough. That was a nice pass down low.
3:42 to play. Jasinski receives the baseline look, then pulls it back out. Sends it our way to Drazel. Trying to get it inside here to number 25, Brodak, no good. This rebound going to be secured by Arrigo. 3-point look on the way. This one hard off the side of the rim and cannot be saved. Jasinski off the mark there. 3:14 to play. Mount Pleasant did lose both games to Laurel Highlands last season. So as we look at this series going back to last school year, the Laurel Highlands Mustangs really dominated the Vikings last season. Neither game was close. The first of those 2 meetings was in Mount Pleasant, 62-22. Then Mount Pleasant came to Laurel Highlands later in the season. That one ended 59-10. So I'm sure Coach Hillen looking for some revenge if he can have it. No good here on the shot for Brooks, and the outlet is going to be jumped by Swartfager. Swartfager really has an eye for those outlet passes. She is so very quick, and that allows her to begin to retreat defensively, but also factor into any hurried passes. That is certainly true. Not a great deal of scoring so far in this quarter for either team. This one off the base of the rim, and it's going to be pulled down by Hainan. Hainan outlets to Price. Price across the timeline. Sends it our way to Brooks. Brooks with a wide open look off the rim and no good. Swartfager cannot quite save this one. Ball will go to the Lady Vikings.
Yeah, I've seen some really nice passes tonight, haven't we?
Yes.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Laurel Highlands especially with a couple of very nice looks inside here in quarter number 2. So far in this quarter, just a total of 8 points scored with 2:07 to play. Here's Drazel looking to add 3 more, and she will. And Riley Drazel has 8 points, and the Vikings lead 21-15. Laurel Highlands looking to get a couple of these back. Harris trying to lead in Swartfager, who was seemingly tripped by Jasinski. And it's this time going to be Chloe Price who's nearly able to take the ball away from Victoria Tepper. Lexi Baker will check back in. When we hit halftime, we'll take a short break. We'll leave the camera up, turn down the sound, and we'll take a short break and come back with some statistics for you. I have sort of kept an impromptu book here in the press box tonight. I think everything is accurate so far. Another 3-point look on the way from Drazel, who now has 11. 1:22 to go in the quarter. Price on the drive, moves it to Brooks, top of the key, coming our way to Hainan, back to Brooks. This one gets through Brooks' hands and is scooped up by Lexi Baker. 65 seconds to play. Tepper, baseline jumper, no good. Fighting inside now, Drazel, and Riley Drazel has really started to take the game over. Talk about a significant late addition. Again, we know it was an error, but this young lady was not even included on the initial roster. And she's got 13 points. Half of the Vikings' output. Battle for the rebound in the paint here. as Paschke will check back in. Now an 11-point game. Harris will step out to send this one in. Play is set. Harris looking for a target. Floats one out to Swartfager. Taylor goes to Price. Price follows up with the elbow jumper. No good. Rebound is again going to be tied up between Swartfager and Brodak. Under 30 seconds to play. Laurel Highlands does not just have that tournament to look forward to. They are also hosting the Uniontown Lady Raiders here at Laurel Highlands High School on December 30th. That's a 6 p.m. tip. Inside give, no good, although the Vikings are going to get a chance at an offensive rebound. It gets away from them. That was Brodak who was not able to get one to drop down. 15 seconds to play. Again at halftime, we'll take a short break. Coach Hillen steps out to move a few of his players into a more aggressive look. Mount Pleasant offering at least some pressure here. 10 seconds, and they're going to nearly come up with a steal. Ball was tipped from Brodak back to Price. Price goes to Brooks on the drive, and Brooks gets a nice-looking 2 to go. Maddie Brooks has 4, and that's going to do it. 26-17 your score at halftime. We will take a short break here on the South Union Township Sports Network. We're going to leave the camera up, turn the sound down. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. Mount Pleasant leading Laurel Highlands 26-17 in a WPIAL girls basketball matchup just before the Christmas holiday. Of course, most of our local schools now firmly on to Christmas break, and Carl and I currently are enjoying some Christmas music being played inside the gym, a standard from Mariah Carey that probably everyone knows, and that makes me wonder, does the baby have a Christmas song?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised, but off the top of my head, I don't believe so.
Well, if he does, a golden opportunity, missed to get the baby's Christmas title, whatever it might be,
One
in
can only
rotation.
imagine.
Let's take a look at our statistics coming into the halftime break. Mount Pleasant does lead 26-17. Mount Pleasant scored 13 in the first quarter, 13 in the second. Laurel Highlands 12 and 5 to reach our current numbers. On the Laurel Highlands side, 3 different scores. Taylor Swartfager leading the team with 8, 3 of those coming from the foul line. 5 points for Chloe Price, 4 points for Maddie Brooks. On the Mount Pleasant side, Riley Drazo leads all scorers with 13. 6 points for Danica Traynor. She sort of got all of those in one rush. 3 points for Kendra Brunson, 2 points each for Victoria Tepper and Morgan Jasinski. So Mount Pleasant and head coach Scott Hillen enjoying a 9-point lead over Laurel Highlands and head coach Rick Hill, although Laurel Highlands certainly, I think, showed to be more than capable of playing with and even beating this Mount Pleasant team. So despite the fact that I might consider Mount Pleasant to have a bit more experience, they've got a few more upperclassmen in their normal rotation. I do think Laurel Highlands has a chance here, even though they trail by 9 at halftime. We want to thank our sponsors again, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Speaking of birthdays, especially those of people whom are, let's say, known by another name. We, of course, in jest mentioned that today is, in fact, the birthday of Jonathan Kirk, who goes by the stage name DaBaby. He was born today in 1991. This is the historical birthday of Claudia Taylor, born today in 1912. Claudia is best known to history as Lady Bird Johnson, the wife of former U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson. You may be wondering how she got the nickname Lady Bird. Historians are actually not sure about that. There is some debate. They know the nickname came to her from her childhood nurse, who liked to say that a young Claudia was as pretty as a ladybird. And many historians believe this is in reference to a type of songbird. Others believe it is in reference to the ladybird beetle, which in North America is more commonly known as the ladybug. Either way, the nickname stuck. Claudia Taylor went by that nickname for most of her life, Lady Bird. Later, she married Lyndon B. Johnson and became First Lady following the assassination of John F. Kennedy, when her husband, Lyndon B. Johnson, LBJ, assumed the office of the presidency. She was born today in 1912. We'll take another short break here at Laurel Highlands High School. We'll be back in about 90 seconds on the South Union Township Sports Network. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. 26-17, Mount Pleasant currently leading Laurel Highlands. Just a few days now before the Christmas holiday, so Merry Christmas to you, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. 2026 rapidly upon us, of course, in the sports world. Just before our broadcast started, we learned that the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, DK Metcalf, has been issued a 2-game suspension by the National Football League for an altercation that occurred during the Steelers and Lions game yesterday. As we get this one underway, what a wild game. Hopefully we get a wild finish here too. This one a bit high for Paschke. Laurel Highlands going to move right into some pressure. Neither team with any players now in significant foul trouble. A few players have 2 fouls. Mount Pleasant did a pretty good job managing some early foul trouble, and a foul is going to be called here as Laurel Highlands offers some pressure. And this one's going to go against Chloe Price. That's her second.
That didn't take long.
No, it did not. 12 seconds. Laurel Highlands looking for a strong quarter here. More pressure and a tie-up. And this one will be awarded to the Lady Vikings. Danica Trainer on the sideline. Mount Pleasant will offer their formation. Ball goes to Drozel. Riley had a huge first half, loses the basketball here, and it's off of her foot. Ball is awarded to the Mustangs. So this is exactly what Coach Rick Hill for Laurel Highlands would like to see. (26-17) your score. Price maybe thought about going to Swartfager there, but hit Drozel with the basketball. She goes one more ahead to number 5, Baker. Baker cannot get the shot to go. Rebound tracked down by Trainer. Trainer goes to Tepper on the wing. Tepper comes back our way to Drozel, and she'll reset the play. Now going away from us, opposite wing, of course, Mount Pleasant working left to right here in half number 2, whereas the Mustangs will be going right to left. Ball stolen by Paschke. Good hands there for her. Paschke cut off, and then the ball is stolen by number 24, Danica Trainer. That was Lexus Baker who got ahead of her. Drozel comes our way to Tepper. Tepper goes corner, then comes right back, and this one is knocked away by Swartfager. Baker had wanted to get one quickly back out to Tepper, but Swartfager would not have any of it. Ball moved into Baker, 6:40 to play here in quarter number 3. Quick inside give. This is Arrigo. That one goes in and out. And Laurel Highlands is secured by, the basketball is secured by Laurel Highlands. Swartfager to Harris. Harris goes to Brooks in the corner. Brooks, quick one into Swartfager. Swartfager wanted one more to a wide open Paschke, but the pass gets away. Just a bit behind Paschke. Good look, though. Carl, you had pointed that out in the first half. Some really good passing.
Oh, yeah.
Happening here. Certainly some good looks at open targets.
Just seems to be a lid on the hoop.
Baker has the ball knocked away from her as she drives in, and Swartfager ends up with it. Swartfager comes back to Brooks, and Brooks is going to travel. That's a tough call, but apparently that pivot foot slid. Trainer sends this one into Jasinski. 2 minutes into quarter number 3. No score yet here in the second half. So the Mount Pleasant lead remains the same. Jasinski goes away from us, and now we get a ball off a foot. And this one is going to stay with Mount Pleasant. Sending this one in from the baseline from the F in the word Phillies is Trainer. She gets this to Jasinski. They swing it around to Arrigo, to Drozel, then back to Arrigo. I don't think Arrigo was anticipating the ball there, but it came to her. She goes to Trainer in the paint. Trainer shot off the front of the rim, no good. The rebound is going to be tied up between a few different players who all end up on the floor, and the ball is awarded to Laurel Highlands. Both teams holding on to 4 remaining timeouts. Someone is going to come out of this game with a 2-2 conference record. Here's a good swing by Swartfager. Somehow that was not a foul. It looked like Arrigo was in motion as she stepped up. Here's a great looking steal by Brooks. She's going to be blocked though by Arrigo. It goes off Arrigo's hands. No, they say it's off of Price.
That's a tough series there. Great defense.
Yes. I certainly think that, of course, the official had a better view than we do, but it certainly seemed like that ball went off Arrigo's hands. And this is going to be a foul from behind called against Brooks. Brooks trying to charge up and get in front of Jasinski. 3 against Maddie Brooks. She's the first player with 3. Great steal here by Harris. She gets it to Brooks. Brooks on the drive, floats one up. She's partially blocked by Arrigo, and Arrigo comes away with the basketball. 5 minutes now to play here in quarter number 3. Laurel Highlands creating some chances. They just could not cash in any of them. Good look here, finding Trainer on the cut. Does Arrigo. Trainer gets 2. That's our first basket of the second half. Over 3 minutes into quarter 3. Coming this way to Harris. Harris goes back into Swartfager. Swartfager has the basketball knocked away, and Mount Pleasant comes up with it. Across the timeline goes Drazel. Now a 3 from the corner from Jasinski. That one would have hurt had it gone, and it does not. Rebound could not be saved, though, by Laurel Highlands, so this one will stay with Mount Pleasant. 4:19 to play. 2 fouls so far this quarter against the Lady Mustangs, none against the Lady Vikings. And again, both teams holding on to 4 total timeouts. Trainer going to lose the basketball on the drive. Brooks comes up with it. No, Paschke comes up with it. Paschke goes ahead to Swartfager. Swartfager, a jumper on the way, off the side of the rim, no good. Then her follow-up is blocked by Arrigo. And Arrigo, great looking pass here to Jasinski. But Jasinski took a few steps before she ever put the ball on the floor. So with 3:59 to play here in quarter number 3, it's 28-17.
It was a tough call.
That was, but a fortunate one for Laurel Highlands because Jasinski may have been tough to catch there. Tepper stepping out on Swartfager. Swartfager to Price. Price goes off the elbow to the short corner. She finds Paschke there. Now Paschke back up top to Harris. Harris cut off by Arrigo, goes to Brooks. Arrigo is defensively strong inside. A Swartfager, though, still able to lay in 2, but Arrigo, who is listed at 6 foot, certainly seems like she plays a bit taller than just 6 feet. Keep in mind, Mount Pleasant had to play a significant portion of the first half without her because Arrigo picked up 2 very quick fouls. Mount Pleasant has been careful in the foul column here so far in quarter number 3. Ball goes to Trainer. Now this way, Arrigo wants the 3 ball, and she hits it. Yikes. Cannot say that I expected that, but Grace Arrigo made it happen like she does it all the time. 31-19. Those were Arrigo's first points. Here's an open look for Swartfager trying to answer. This one off the rim, back out to Swartfager. And we've got a timeout taken as Swartfager lost her footing. Coach Hill takes a timeout. 30-second timeout taken by Coach Hill. We'll keep it right here with you during that timeout. We'd like to thank our sponsors again, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis, attorneys at law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Mount Pleasant coming to us, of course, from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, in Westmoreland County. One of a few districts in Westmoreland County that are either on or very near to the border with Fayette County. Fayette and Westmoreland, of course, share a long border, and a few students who belong to Southmoreland, which is a district based in Westmoreland, actually reside in Fayette County. Of course, we have one township in Fayette County that belongs to Southmoreland, and Mount Pleasant, a very near neighbor to that district. Here's Harris on the wing. Harris is going to draw some contact here near the baseline, and a foul will be called against Mount Pleasant. And this one's against Arrigo, so that's her third. Some students in Fayette County, of course, also attend Bell Vernon area, which is another district based in Westmoreland. Swartfager is fouled here inside. Will this be against Arrigo? That's going to be big if it is. And it is. The official initially signed for 33, but then he changes it to 34. There's not a 33 out there. So Arrigo picks up 2 fouls in the space of about 4 seconds. And Swartfager's at the foul line to add. And Carl, I know Laurel Highlands has a bit of a mountain to climb here as Swartfager gets the first one, but it certainly would not hurt their chances to have Arrigo on the bench.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Shot on the way for Arrigo, no good. Jasinski nearly gets the rebound. Ball will be secured by Paschke. She goes to Price. Price nearly loses her footing there. She gets it to Swartfager, now coming this way to Harris. And we've got a moving screen here that's going to go against Paschke. And that's going to be 3 against her. Haley Benko will come in to relieve Paschke. We do have an 11-point game now, and no Grace Arrigo for Mount Pleasant. That is significant. Arrigo, at the very least, defensively made her presence known. Here's Jasinski on a huge drive, and a blocking foul called on top of it. One shot coming for Jasinski, who now has 4 points tonight. And a chance to make it 5. Official confirms the shot is good. Foul shot on the way. This one no good. Strong rebound here by Laurel Highlands inside. This is going to be Price. Price to Swartfager. Swartfager. To Price this way. Price on the drive. Chloe Price. Has one roll off the front of the rim, but swats the rebound away. Benko secures it. She gets it to Brooks. Brooks to Swartfager. Swartfager back to Brooks. Brooks for 3. This one off the base of the rim, no good. Ball will be tipped away. Price able to save it. Laurel Highlands really trying to get their money's worth here. Driving inside. Swartfager can't get the shot to go. And the rebound, though, initially goes to Mount Pleasant, but Jasinski couldn't save it from the baseline, and it goes right back to Laurel Highlands.
That's tough for Laurel Highlands. They've done such a good job of getting into the paint and getting some looks tonight, but they just can't get anything to fall.
And with Arrigo out of the game, a real opportunity here. Ball goes to Price. Price finding Swartfager in the paint. Taylor brings this one all the way back out. Drives to her left. Little pass here to Brooks. Brooks wanted to go back over top of Brunson to Swartfager. Brunson got a piece, and then the Lady Vikings came out with the basketball. 48 seconds to play. And we're going to have a whistle here. And the foul is going to go against number 25, Charlotte Brodak. She was a uniform change, listed as 20 initially, wearing 25 tonight. Illegal screen. Laurel Highlands will want to be at least somewhat careful here with 47 seconds to play. They do have 4 fouls as a team in this quarter. Brodak really laying on to Harris. Harris moves past her, gets it to Swartfager. Now to Price. Price, a big one over to Brooks. Looking inside to Swartfager. Swartfager is going to be fouled here before the pass. 29 seconds to play. Tepper will check in. Paschke checking in. Harris will stand between the M&U and Mustangs. Gets this one to Brooks. Brooks, nicely done off the glass for two.
Another nice pass into the paint.
Brooks has 6 points tonight. 33-22 your score. Jasinski on the wing. Mount Pleasant. Most likely going to get the last shot. Here it is. No good. Off the base of the glass. That'll do it for quarter number 3. Your score, Mount Pleasant 33, Laurel Highlands 22. A low-scoring third quarter. Mount Pleasant only adding 7. Laurel Highlands adding 5. It's an 11-point ball game when we come back for quarter number 4 here on the South Union Township Sports Network. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network, quarter number 4. Laurel Highlands trailing by 11 points. The Lady Mustangs do hold 3 timeouts. The Lady Vikings have 4 timeouts. Fouls, of course, will reset. Here's Taylor Swartfager. Big steal, goes up for 2, and Taylor is going to add to her total tonight. She now has 13. And Laurel Highlands gets their deficit down to 9 points. Opportunity here for Brunson to get those back. No. And now Harris is going to foul inside. That'll be the second against Harris. And Riley Drowsel will step up to the foul line for the first time this evening. She is just the 3rd Lady Viking tonight to shoot foul shots. Prior to this shot, Mount Pleasant's only taken 3 foul shots this entire game, and this one's good. Danica Trainer checking in. And the lead back to 11. As Drowsel gets both, and she now has 15. Swartfager to Price, 35-24, 7:25 to play. Price on the drive, brings it our way to Brooks. Now to Harris. Harris trying to lead in Paschke. Ball gets away, and I do think that may have been off of Mount Pleasant, and the far sideline official agrees. The Lady Vikings were not really sure what to do. The ball was bouncing toward the corner, and then it just sort of died in the corner before breaking the plane of the sideline, and I do think it was touched pretty clearly there by at least one player by Mount Pleasant. Good-looking pass here to Paschke, and Paschke has the basketball stuck between the rim and the glass. Spare basketball tossed out. Initial basketball dislodged to the delight of the crowd as it passed through the hoop. Ball will be awarded here to Laurel Highlands. Swartfager going to break down to the far block. Ball comes to Paschke. Now to Brooks. Brooks trying to lead Swartfager. trying to throw her open, so to speak. Quick pass to Harris. Now to Brooks again, who worked her way into the far corner. To Harris, now back to Brooks. Brooks floats one up, no good. Jasinski with the rebound, 6:45 to play. 35-24 in favor of Mount Pleasant. Lady Vikings, of course, now can really start to think about not being in a hurry. Tepper wanted that shot, though. She's blocked inside by Harris. Then Swartfager saves the ball to Brooks, and after the tie-up, the ball is going to be awarded to Mount Pleasant. And Coach Hillen is going to send in Grace Arrigo. From where, good looking pass here inside to Drozel, and she gets two. Drozel broke free on the inbound pass, lays one off the glass. It's 37-24. From where we are seated right now in the press box, Carl and I have a bird's eye view of the Connellsville Daily Courier reporter, Paul Britton. Paul is fervently writing, or at least he was a moment ago. Paschke going to collide with Arrigo in the paint. And this one nearly saved by Tepper, but will be awarded to Laurel Highlands. Carl, I got a great question for you in just a moment. Here's Swartfager for three. And Laurel Highlands needed a big look, and they got one from Taylor just now, 37-27.
Is that the first three for Laurel Highlands this game?
That is the third, actually. Taylor had one earlier, so did Chloe Price.
I thought they had one or two.
Of course, for Mount Pleasant, Riley Drozel in the second quarter had a burst where she did some damage really all over the floor. And we're going to have 5-second call against Mount Pleasant as Jasinski could not find anything happening, and Swartfager stayed in hot pursuit. And a timeout going to be taken here by Laurel Highlands, presumably to give these Lady Mustangs a little breather after a very good defensive sequence that has one possession back for them. 37-27. Now, Carl, I do not have my glasses tonight. And I'm going to ask your help for something.
Do my best.
Mr. Jason Taylor, who did a wonderful job pregame helping us with the roster with some additions, he's got a really, really cool Christmas sweater on. It appears to say the word Nike. Is that what you're seeing?
I believe it does.
It is a Nike Christmas sweater. That is pretty cool.
Mr. Taylor's feeling very festive today, I think it's safe to say.
He is. Sort of has a poinsettia style design, almost like a poinsettia cookie. With the word Nike. Good look. Should have worn my Christmas sweater. Didn't even think about it. It's a shame. 5:19 to play, 37-27. Ball moved into Swartfager. Across the timeline, our way to Harris. Laurel Highlands still with some life, but Harris is going to travel here as she was looking for a target over Arrigo. So Laurel Highlands, 5 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Obviously, the Lady Vikings are going to do their best to stall. Only one foul has been called so far this period. As Jasinski gets the timeline, passes her own bench. If you're the Lady Mustangs, you would love, in the course of picking up a few baskets here, to get that fifth foul. We may have it. Nope. Thought they might have Arrigo for an illegal screen. Instead, they're going to have a hit called against Paschke. That's her fourth. Arrigo had leaned into that screen just a little bit. Sometimes you'll see the officials call that, and now this is going to be a call against Brooks, who is frustrated. Maddie, boy, she really gives you everything she's got on the court. You have to admire that. Drozel is going to shoot 2. First one on the way and no good. Drozel had 13 points in the first half. She is good so far for 4 in the second half for a total of 17. That one's good as well. (38-27). Ball comes here to Brooks. She wanted to go to Paschke on the baseline, but this one skips off Paschke's hand. There has not been much scoring here in the second half overall. Keep in mind, this game at halftime was 26-17. Brooks nearly able to come up with a steal here on the near sideline. And right now it's 38-27. So since halftime, Mount Pleasant has added 12 points and Laurel Highlands 10. With 4:26 to play. Nearly over and back. Well, we have it. As Swartfager was about to steal the ball anyway. I think that's the call we got.
Yeah, I do believe it was.
Scoreboard has Drozel with just 17 points, but I am very sure she has 18. And if she has 18, the math works for how the Vikings got to 38. 4:10 to play. Laurel Highlands, every possession is going to be worth its weight in gold. Swartfager loses the basketball in the paint. Then we get a kick call. And this one's going to go back to Laurel Highlands, I believe. It will. Start thinking about that worth its weight in gold statement and some Christmas characters here. Yukon Cornelius. We need some Yukon Cornelius vibes here for Laurel Highlands. Foul going to be called against Taylor Swartfager. That is her second. 4 against the Mustangs, so the Lady Vikings on the cusp of doing some shooting. Ball will come across the timeline with Drozel. And then the ball was lost to the sideline, but off the Mustangs. 11-point ball game, 3:48, leading pass to Tepper. Tepper gets one more to Jasinski. Jasinski loops around on a C-cut and just brings the basketball back up top. Again, the Lady Vikings have no reason to even shoot if they don't want to, but Trainer will put one up and it does not go. Rebound is going to be secured, it seems, by Brooks, but a jump ball is called and the ball will be awarded to the Lady Mustangs anyway. So now with 3.5 minutes in the game, the Lady Mustangs really need every possession to produce points to keep some pressure on these Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings. Ball tipped there, intended for Swartfager. Ball was tipped by Jasinski. Coach Hillen did not like that call. Here's Harris for 3, off the glass and in. A huge made basket. First points for Haven Harris.
Banks are open late for Christmas.
Yes, just the third player for Laurel Highlands to score here in the second half. And now a steal, and they're going to call a travel.
That's tough.
That is a very tough call. I thought Price was going to be more susceptible to a potential over and back when she completed that step. But she still had one foot that had not struck the timeline, which means she could have pivoted back if necessary. I certainly do not think she traveled there. Floater no good. Rebound going to be pulled down by Trainer, and Trainer gets a 2. Danica Trainer, 10 points tonight. Harris wants to try again for 3, and Haven Harris. Safe Haven. A quick 6. That's how you do it. 40-33, full timeout taken here by head coach Rick Hill of the Laurel Highlands Lady Mustangs. We'll take a timeout, too, on the South Union Township Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. Joshua Scully, Carl Childs, a game that, as we had hoped, became interesting. Now Laurel Highlands has their deficit down to 7. They're going to apply some pressure here. It's not all good news. The Mustangs do have 4 fouls as a team this quarter, which is going to send the Lady Vikings to the line quite a bit. We'll see how that plays out. That could be a good thing, as Coach Hillen is now going to respond with a full timeout. Now there's some argument over whether or not that timeout was appropriate, because Coach Hillen needed possession to take that timeout. It looked to us that he did. That was Trainer, who was nearly on the ground possessing the basketball. She had been tied up for just a second and twisted away from that. We'll keep this time out here with you on the South Union Township Sports Network. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Smith Lewis Chess CPAs in Uniontown, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, the Sprouse Insurance Group, and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now part of U.S. Digestive Health, the UPMC Rehabilitation Institute, and physical therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Speaking of birthdays, I have one final one for you. This is a very historical birthday. You have to go all the way back to the year 244. Nearly 1,800 years ago. Today was the birthday in 244 of Diocletian, who would go on to become emperor of the Roman Empire. He was born today in 244. So Diocletian, if you're listening, I don't know how that's possible. 2:17 to play in a 7-point game. Tie-up here will go to Mount Pleasant. Ball moved into Tepper. Tepper jump shot. Rebound pulled down by Trainer, and Trainer is going to be fouled as she turns and goes back up, and she's got 12 points tonight, and that's going to send her to the line to shoot one, and that's not going to do Laurel Highlands any favors, as they are back down 9 with 2:13 to play. Foul shot's no good. Swartfager is able to track down the rebound. 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock here at Laurel Highlands High School, and Price is going to be fouled as she goes to the basket. 2 shots coming. Price has 5 points tonight, including a beautiful 3-point shot in the first half. Brooks checks out, checking in, number 12, Kaylee Milsom. Still a chance for Laurel Highlands, but you really need the next moment, let's say, to go your way. 2 minutes and 4 seconds to play. Price gets the first one. That makes it an 8-point game. You really need to generate at least 2 more clean turnovers and then cash in. Pass goes to Tepper. Tepper in trouble, gets it to Jasinski. Jasinski moves to her left to escape the trap. Goes to the corner. 1:52 to play. Jasinski looking for help, finds it in Trainer. Trainer dribbling toward high post, then retreats. Goes away from us to Jasinski. Jasinski on the drive. Makes some contact here with Swartfager. And, man, that's a really tough call because Taylor was the one who was pushed away there.
Yeah, I think in a moment like that, you got to let him continue to play.
Coach Hill, I think, saw the same thing we did. And the official who reported the foul, first shot from Jasinski is no good, looked at Coach Hill and said, I'll get it next time, or I'll see it next time. So obviously he's aware that there was some contact initiated by Jasinski. Still, if Jasinski misses this, it's a win for Laurel Highlands if they get the rebound. And Swartfager is going to get it. Just a 7-point game. Now things could get really interesting. Price. Jumper on the way. This one looks good, but it's off the front of the rim and bounces away. Trainer trying to find a target. She throws it to Chloe Price. Price circling around. Gets this one to Benko. Benko comes back to Price. 1:17 to play. Ball goes to Harris, now to Benko. Benko to Swartfager in the middle, and Swartfager, what an interesting foul. You don't see that often, Carl, where Jasinski knew that Swartfager was behind her, and she essentially backed her shoulders into Swartfager's body, almost like a reverse body check. Harris to Swartfager, up for two, and it's good. And Taylor keeping Laurel Highlands around. It's a 5-point game, and it's stolen by Brooks. Brooks has got it to Harris. Harris coming back the other way across the timeline. Pass to Price. Price, short corner, needs help. Gets it back out to Harris, and now Laurel Highlands will maybe take a moment to process this. They do have one timeout left, 49 seconds to play. 5-point difference. Laurel Highlands needs two good possessions here. Brooks goes short corner. Gets it back out to Benko. Benko going to lose the basketball for a moment. It's saved by Swartfager, but she's standing out of bounds holding the basketball. Paschke going to check back in. Benko will come out. "35 seconds. And we've got a whistle here. And apparently we've got some debris or liquid on the court.
Somebody has a bloody nose, it appears.
Yes, I see it now. There is some blood on the floor. You have to wonder if you go across the basketball court in the WPIAL, you know, sometimes contact happens, you get some cuts, some bloody nose. Bleeding will occur. Every court has probably seen their fair share, and thankfully Coach Hillen spots that here and able to stay on top of it. And this is going to be a backcourt violation, Carl. It's going to be a backcourt violation. So Laurel Highlands given an early Christmas gift here as the ball was flipped back to Jasinski. I don't think Jasinski was quite ready for it. Drazel, I think, surprised her. Jasinski's also holding the side of her face. I hope she's okay. Here's Harris, a little fake. Goes to Paschke. Paschke back out to Swartfager. Swartfager on the drive, and Swartfager is chopped down. She'll shoot two. Taylor going to the foul line here for the second time in the second half. Her fifth overall appearance. And not that we want to put any undue pressure on Taylor, who's played a phenomenal game, but obviously these shots are paramount. Taylor right now has 18 points. First one's off the front of the rim and no good. If you get this one, you get it to 4 points with 20 seconds to play. This one is off the front of the rim, no good. The rebound nearly bounced all the way back out to Taylor. And we're going to have a foul called here as Baker was tied up. Someone gets called for the hold. We'll see where that foul goes. It's going to be called on Swartfager, who now has 4.
It's a tough game for Laurel Highlands because they had a lot of good opportunities getting to the paint, some nice passes, just couldn't finish on a lot of those plays.
Yeah, they definitely had opportunities. So I think when they play Mount Pleasant again, if you're Coach Hill, you can really build upon that because first foul shot here is going to be good for Baker. You can certainly say to yourself, look, we had some chances. Certainly their fair share and more. Baker could make this one really difficult with a make here. It bounces away, and the rebound is going to be saved by Traynor. Traynor, though, has the pass loss. Right now, Laurel Highlands is going to take their final timeout just to save the possession with 10 seconds to play. Down 6. So, Carl, still hope. You need a quick made three-pointer. Laurel Highlands so far tonight has had 3 different players succeed from beyond the arc, a total of 5 times. 2 of those coming from Haven Harris, really triggering this comeback. 2 from Swartfager and 1 early from Price. The Lady Vikings, of course, can afford to surrender 1-3, and then will be looking to run off whatever time is left. And if you're the Lady Mustangs, you need that made 3, a very quick steal, or a really, really quick foul. That, though, would certainly not be ideal because even if the Lady Vikings would miss both foul shots, you would need the rebound. You'd need to get yourself back down the court. Right now, the Mustangs have to start. You take it one step at a time. They need the made 3. They're going to go to Price. Price is going to come our way. 8 seconds across the timeline. Price loses the basketball, saves it to Swartfager, who needs to take a shot. She lets one go. This one's off the mark, and that is going to do it. Unfortunately for Laurel Highlands, the final score, 43-37. A really spirited effort there from Laurel Highlands, who put together 15 points in the fourth quarter. Mount Pleasant adding 10 in the fourth quarter. We'll take a short break here on the South Union Township Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment with your final statistics and recap of this basketball game. Welcome back to the South Union Township Sports Network. Mount Pleasant improving to 2-2 in the section. Laurel Highlands falling to 1-3 in a really good basketball game here just before the holiday. Mount Pleasant wins it 43-37. Laurel Highlands scored 12 points in the first quarter. It was a 13-12 game at the end of one. They scored 5 in the second, 5 in the third, 15 in the fourth. Mount Pleasant 13 in the first, 13 in the second, 7 in the third, 10 in the fourth. That's how we get to 43-37 on the Laurel Highlands side. 4 scores. Taylor Swartfager, 18. 7 points for Chloe Price, 6 for Haven Harris, 6 for Maddie Brooks. For the Mount Pleasant Lady Vikings, 18 for Riley Drozel, who scored 13 of those in the first half, 12 for Danica Traynor, 5 for Morgan Jasinski, 3 for Grace Arrigo. That big made 3 out of the corner for Grace. 2 for Victoria Tepper. We want to thank you for checking out the South Union Township Sports Network this evening. We want to thank our sponsors again one last time. Smith Lewis Chess CPAs and Uniontown Davis and Davis Attorneys at Law. The Sprouse Insurance Group and Agent David Hughes, SWGI Specialist, now a part of U.S. Digestive Health. The UPMC Rehabilitation Institute and Physical Therapist Jim Burns, United Bank, and South Union Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott. Carl, as always, a treat to work with you, and Merry Christmas, Carl.
Likewise.
Hope you have a great holiday.
Merry Christmas to you, too. You do the same.
Today's game on the South Union Township Sports Network has been a joint cooperative venture with Township Supervisors Bob Schiffbauer, Rick Vernon, and Jason Scott, along with Armstrong and Breezeline Cable and our friends at CUTV, including Gary Smith. Final score, 43-37 for Carl Childs. I'm Joshua Scully. You've been listening to the South Union Township Sports Network. Have a Merry Christmas and a great New Year.